What is going on, champions? I hope you're doing really well. And this video here is all about our current life skill goal setting. Now, this season here, all the last January, February, March, we've been talking all about goal setting and achieving your goals. Now, you were given one of these books here, and hopefully you picked one up. If you didn't get one, you know what? Listen, I know that we're pretty much wrapping up the current life skill, and that's okay. So if you haven't gotten one of these yet, maybe you didn't start this, that's okay. You can still participate in this on your own. Maybe you don't achieve it in time for the actual earning of the stripe, which happens in April here. You can start handing these sheets in March 31st, so just in a few days. So if you haven't done this yet, that's fine. Pick one up. Listen, it's never too late to start goal setting. You can do this at any time, so don't feel the need that maybe you missed the season here for the current life skill. That's fine. It doesn't matter because, again, goal setting just can be done anytime. And in fact, you should be constantly setting goals throughout the year, throughout the month, for yourself, for your family, for everything that goes on in your life. If it's your career or school, whatever it is, you should be looking at having goals and setting them and writing them down. And that's what our goal here was with the life skill, was to have you set a goal, create the action steps, the game plan that is going to have you achieve those. Now, one thing that always happens with a lot of people is they start this goal, they have a goal in mind, maybe they write it down, maybe they don't. Chances are you might be one of those who don't write their goals down. Well, I hate to say it, that is a big part of it, is actually writing them down and having those things. So I wanted to do this video here because maybe you've gone along here and maybe you've lost focus on the goal. Maybe you haven't quite achieved the said goal that you made, or maybe you're just starting it just now. So I thought I would take an opportunity here just to kind of run through steps that you can take to help you with goal setting, because maybe it didn't work out for you this round here, but you want to continue this practice, or maybe it has worked out, and again, you just want to keep this practice going where you are continuously setting goals. Well, I want to make sure that you set these goals and that you're going to be successful with them. So we're going to go along here with the manual, and I'm going to just go through each part because, again, sometimes it can be a little left, confused. Maybe you get a little bit lost, or maybe you get sidetracked or something like that. And we just want to make sure that, like, hey, we're going to achieve these things. So let's go through the actual game plan for goal setting. So this season here, we were talking about the power of goal setting. And what better time to actually have this life skill than starting in January, when everybody is going to be setting goals, New Year's resolutions, little achievements, whatever you might call them for the year. This was the just perfect time to have this current life skill. So the power of goal setting. A goal properly set is halfway reached. I really like this just because if we actually just set a goal and we actually write it down, we take the steps, you're halfway there to completing it. So many times we just get this idea in our head of, like, I want to do this, this, and this, but we have zero game plan, we have no action steps, we don't write it down, we don't tell other people, we don't hold ourselves accountable, and then we never achieve it. And that can be discouraging because then we start sitting there going, well, I never achieve my goals anyway, so what's the point? What's the point on setting some goals? What's the point on setting these New Year's resolutions? What's the point in doing any of this? I don't achieve them anyway. Well, did we actually properly set a goal? Did we write it down? Did we take the time to put action steps in place? So a goal properly set is halfway reached. So why goal setting matters? Goals give us direction and purpose. They help develop discipline, motivation, and confidence, essential for all ages. We do this with our kids. We have them set goals. In fact, right at the beginning of the year, what we do is we write out all the things we want to do for the entire year. And this could be everything from just like little things like try a particular type of food that they've never tried before. Or maybe it is a challenging thing like earn a certain belt, or compete at a tournament, or make a certain position on their baseball teams, or do a hike that they saw and that looked really challenging, really tough, and they want to achieve that. So we have these goals that we set at the beginning of the year. At Champion Taekwondo, setting and achieving goals is a key part of our training. Obviously, the belt system is it's like right in your face of how goals are made. Everything from the striping to the belt that you earn to the testing, they're all little achievements and little goals. So without even like thinking about it, the belt system and structure in martial arts and in Taekwondo and how we do our training and our striping is like exactly how goal setting is made. There's these little achievements, little stepping stones. We learn this, and there's all these tracking things. So the whole system and structure for how we operate with our classes is right there with goal setting. Why do people fail at their goals? Well, I'm going to go through all of these in a little bit more detail, but here's the main reasons. Goals are too vague or unclear. There's no action plan or structure, no checkpoints or progress tracking, no deadline or urgency, and there's no reward or celebration. Yes, we need a reward. We need some celebration. We need something to know that when we achieve that thing, there's this reward at the end. And I'll go through what that reward might be, but it's different for everybody or the situation here. But vague goals, these lead to failure. So saying I want to get better at my side kick, it's too vague. Like, what is better? A better goal. I want to improve my side kick by increasing its height by 6 inches and landing it within control 10 times in a row. Like, that is more specific. When we set vague goals, and this one here I hear the most is I want to go to a tournament and I want to do well. What does well mean? What does well mean to you? What does well mean to me? Like, have a specific, clear goal. And the reason why too many people fall short on this one and they set too vague of a goal is simple. They're afraid to just say, I want to get gold at the next tournament. Instead of just saying, I want to get gold, I'm going to get gold. That's my goal at the tournament. They're afraid that if they say, I'm going to get gold, and they don't get gold, they have failed. Well, just because you didn't get gold doesn't mean you failed. There's learning to do with that. But we can't be afraid to just sit there and say exactly what it is that we want. So don't be too vague with your goals. So when you were writing out this here and you were filling in the action game plan, was your goal too vague? Did you say, I want to go to the April 5th tournament and do really good? Well, what does that mean? So again, you need it to be specific. Don't be afraid to get specific here. Like, clearly define what exactly it is. I want straight A's this year in school. I want to get gold at the next tournament in my patterns, in my sparring. I am going to get this belt by this date. I'm going to test for my black belt by this date. Like, get super specific and don't be afraid or worried about how specific it is or whether you're going to fall short of it. Get specific with it. Don't be afraid here. Game plan. A goal without a game plan is just a wish. So again, saying, I want to go to the tournament, and then having just this in your mind of I'm going to get gold in the tournament, and then setting no game plan in there. There's no action steps. So we've got to make sure we have a clear path to success. So this was the example with our side kick. So if you want to improve your side kick, your plan might include practicing 20 kicks per day, stretching, filming yourself weekly. It's important to have these little things where you're actually like setting these little targets. So let's use the tournament for example. You want to go to the tournament, you want to get gold. Well, what steps are you going to take? Now, if you're in the tournament prep class, you already know that we have these action steps for you. We have these challenges that are weekly and daily that you have to complete. So what did we do? What action steps did we take? Like, what game plan are we going to have? So by week 1 here, I'm going to do this every day. If we're thinking about the tournament, I want to get gold in my patterns. Well, I better start practicing my patterns, and I better have a key target of exactly what that is. Is it 10 times per day? Am I going to get gold in sparring? Well, I better start sparring. I better start sparring a lot. I better start making it to class more. So set your target. How many times a week are you going to go to class? Like, without fail. No excuses. How many times a week are you going to go to class? how many times a week are you going to practice your patterns? How many times per day? Set an actionable, measurable thing that you're going to be able to do, and have it set in stone. Write it down. So set those action steps in place. Setting checkpoints for adjustment. Now, all too often this happens where we set this plan, we set this goal in mind, and we have all this stuff, and maybe we went a little bit too high on it. That's fine. What checkpoints are we going to have? So like at what point in week 1, 2, or 3 are we going to check in on our progress? So where did we start and where are we at in week 3? So you can actually see, are you on track to hit your goal? So for example, let's just say it is this side kick, for example. We were talking about flexibility and kicking higher. So if your goal is to kick higher, where did you start at the beginning? What action steps did you take to complete each day? Was it stretching? Was it performing a certain number of kicks? Was it attending class? What was it? Then by week 3, if you were to measure that side kick again, has it gone up? Are you kicking higher? Are you kicking at least 6 inches higher, 3 inches higher, 2 inches higher, whatever it is? And is it going in the right direction? Are you at the exact same mark? Like, we need to know if we need to make adjustments. We need to know, are we actually hitting the things that we said we were going to do? So if by week 3, we haven't increased that flexibility at all, how come? Why? What happened? Be honest with yourself. Were you stretching daily? Were you training daily? Were you making it to class? What stuff was happening there, or what stuff were you not doing? If your goal was to get gold at the next tournament and you were supposed to do your patterns, you recorded yourself on day 1, here's all the mistakes that you know you have, and by week 3, have you made those corrections? Like, have we made the steps to actually know that, like, yes, I've made these corrections here, the placement of my foot is right, the hand position is correct, and then make those adjustments. Whether they're good or bad, maybe you need to even actually increase the goal. Maybe you didn't make a big enough goal, right? So just have those little checkpoints. So in our book, we actually had a spot where markers where we should be like checking in on our goal. Like, in 3 weeks, I want to be able to do this. In 4 weeks, I want to be able to do this. So have those little check marks. Set a deadline. This is really important here. Again, you might have the goal, I want to get gold at a tournament. Which tournament? Like the one happening April 5th or the one happening in 2035? Like, get specific with exactly the deadline here. Like, don't be like, you can't sit there and go, I just want a gold at a tournament. There's no urgency. There's no motivation to actually go out and aspire to get that goal. So if you've got this goal of just getting gold at a tournament, well, that could be the next one. That could be the one after that. And then guess what? You're just going to keep pushing those things off. So set a deadline. For example, here, if you want to break a board, so if you want to break a board by testing day, set a deadline and timeline for practice. Deadlines make goals feel real and achievable. So if April 5th was the tournament that you wanted to get gold at, that's the deadline. You already know this is the deadline when it needs to be achieved. You can't achieve gold April 6th because guess what? The tournament's over. Okay? So again, if you just said, I want a gold at a tournament, it's not, there's no deadline. We need urgency, we need purpose, we need drive. We gotta push for a specific end goal here in mind. That way, win or lose, whatever happens April 5th, we know what adjustments we need to make for nationals. We know what adjustments we need to make for the next provincials, the next westerns, the next cup, whatever it is, we know the adjustments that we need to make. But again, too vague, no deadline, unachieved goal. Celebrating success. This one here, again, I think I actually am this is probably my weakest part of goal setting, is actually celebrating my goals. Sometimes I feel like, and this is something I need work on too, is I have these goals, we set these markers for ourselves, whether it's personal or business or for family, but I sometimes forget to actually, what is my achievement? Like, what is the accomplishment? What is my reward for doing it? Now, the reward just might be simply like winning. Like maybe your goal was to get gold at the tournament. Maybe getting gold is the reward, and that's fine too. But sometimes like actually having something that you get to celebrate with, and this could be something that you go out and do. Like maybe you have a certain marker like getting straight A's in school. That's awesome. So what are you going to do to celebrate that achievement? Like, don't be afraid to be like, you know what? I'm going to go and do this for myself. So this might be parents here. Maybe you set a goal for yourself or for your family. What are you going to do to celebrate that goal? Like, what will you do for yourself and for your family? Is it an outing? Is it maybe dinner out together? Is it taking the kids out for ice cream because they got straight A's? Like, what sort of little achievement or victory can we take for achieving that goal? Okay, so don't be afraid to like actually have something. Again, this is something that I need work on too, because sometimes I'm just too afraid to just actually be like, boy, I deserve to go for this thing here because I earned this, I achieved this, we made the goal here, now I want to go and get this and celebrate by having this. So once you've set your goal, you've made your little adjustments, you have done your action steps, and you have made specific markers for yourself on the steps and progress for the goal. At the very bottom, how are you going to celebrate it? How? I'm going to take myself out for ice cream. I'm going to take myself out for dinner. I'm going to take the family out for dinner. I'm going to take my kids out because they got the straight A's and that was their goal. So I'm going to take them out for a little treat. Like, what will you do to celebrate? And write that down so that way you also have something to look forward to. Like, you know you're putting in all this work and you know the achievements there. When you reach that goal, how are you going to celebrate it? So, how to create a winning goal plan. Define a clear goal. Make it specific and measurable. Write down the action steps. What daily or weekly tasks will help you reach it. Set progress checkpoints. Adjust your plan if needed. So again, these are your little checkpoints. So if your goal is to be reached in 90 days, what will be reached by day 30? What should you be able to do by day 60? Maybe day 45? Like, what progress checkpoints are you going to do? And then check in on yourself. Write it down on a calendar. For 30 days from now, I should be able to do this. Put it on the calendar and then check back on that. When that day comes, are you at that checkpoint? Are you meeting your goal? Are you on track to get there? Set a deadline. Give yourself a clear timeline. So again, if this is a 90-day goal or if this is a date specific like a tournament, what is the deadline? Again, don't give yourself just this, I want to do this and I hope I do it by sometime in my life. Deadline. Give yourself a clear deadline. You know when you're going to reach it. And plan a reward. Celebrate your achievement. Don't be afraid to celebrate it. Again, something I know myself I need work on. Write down, after you've done all these steps here, write down how you are going to celebrate your achievement. Again, this doesn't have to be some big elaborate thing. It could be something just super small that you just know that you celebrated this achievement for. Applying goal setting to your training. So anyway, these are just some examples here for you guys, but you need to really think about these for yourself and what it is you want out of your training. But I will learn my pattern by practicing it 3 times a day for 2 weeks. Patterns can be tough for a lot of people, like memorizing these moves. I find sometimes like the kids can really absorb these things really, really quickly. I know I put this example for kids here, but I almost think adults need this too. We have a harder time just remembering things between all the stuff we have to remember for our kids, for our work, for our own daily personal life. Sometimes these patterns can be really, really tough to memorize, which is why they're actually also really good because they really help with memory. But what are you going to do? I will learn my pattern by practicing it 3 times a day for 2 weeks. I will increase my sparring endurance, right? Like how long can I spar? By adding 2 extra rounds of drills after class 3 times a week. So if you want to improve your sparring endurance, well, sometimes just sparring more is just going to help with that. sparring lungs are very different than just saying going for a run. So like, how many times a week will you do extra rounds? Maybe you only got 2 or 3 rounds in class. That happens sometimes. So can you stay after class and do an extra 2 rounds with somebody? Yeah, probably. So do that. Have a buddy. Like, after class, every night that you guys are in class together, that same person, you guys do an extra round together. That one extra round compounded 3 times a week. At the end of the year, you've done 150 extra rounds at the end of the year. Like, it adds up quick, okay? So just don't think that just doing that little bit doesn't help. It helps out a lot. I will earn my next belt by attending class consistently and reviewing my material weekly. So again, you want to earn your next belt? Well, you better start attending class, right? Consistently, regularly, often. Like, review all that stuff too. What did we work on for the week? Write it down. Like, I have a Ryder, he keeps a little journal of all the stuff that he learned from his coaches. And this could be Taekwondo, martial arts, baseball. If he learned something from a coach, he writes it down. And this could be like how to do a technique better, like how can he improve his swing better, how can he improve his side kick more. It could be something like that, or it could just be even a life lesson. Like, what did he learn that night from one of his coaches that he can write down and just write it down and keep this little journal. So he has this little blog, this little journal of all of the things he's learned from his coaches. And I can't wait for like one day, 20 years from now, he can look back on all of these things that he's learned from all these amazing people and these role models he's gotten to know over the years, and look back and remember the day when, you know, a certain coach told him how to improve his side kick, or how to have more discipline, or have more focus. Like, he writes all those little things down, and it's really, really cool. So just, again, something that he can look back on later. Your goal setting workbook and magazine. So again, we had these made for you guys here. Hopefully you guys took one back in January, but if you did not take one, please go and get one now, because it's not too late. You can take these, even if you have completed this and handed it in for your goal setting stripe. Take another one, because the steps here aren't just for your stripe that you're earning in class. This is ongoing and consistent. After a while, you won't need this magazine. You won't need this. You'll know the action steps, and you can just do it on a piece of paper, on a notebook, and be able to do this all on your own. So feel free, copy this. That's what it's there for. Your task. So I want you to take, after this video here, I want you to take 60 seconds to assess where you are at right now. Now, are you currently working on your goal setting workbook? Cool. Where are you at right now? We're about to hand these in next week. Where are you? Are you close to achieving your goal? Are you going to be able to hand this in to the coaches and be able to earn your goal setting stripe? Or do you need to make some adjustments? Like, where are you at right now? Are you just watching this right now and just getting this book for the first time, and maybe you won't earn your goal setting stripe in April here, but for yourself personally, are you going to be able to take this and then apply these things? Do you need to make any adjustments? Okay, so like right now, if you're working on this book, do you need to make adjustments to hit the goal for April? Okay, make a plan, adjust your actions, then execute. So you still have 30-ish days, a little more, maybe 40 days, because they're due March 31st, but that doesn't mean you have to hand them in on March 31st. So you still have the entire month of April, you can hand them in. So this is just when they're due, starting by March 31st. So you still have that entire month. So again, where are you at right now? As of this, I'm recording this on March 19th. Where are you at right now? What action steps can you take to make the adjustments, so that way when you hand this in, you know you're going to be able to hand this in with some pride, knowing that you handed this in, completing your goal, your mission, your objective that you made back in January or February, whenever you picked this up. Where are you at, and how are you going to be able to hand this in knowing you crushed your goals? Final message here, goal setting is a skill you can master. It applies to training, school, work, and life. Start small, stay consistent, and celebrate success. Yes, remember that. That's my big takeaway here is celebrate your success. Remember the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. So it's one thing to just sit there and make all those ideas and thoughts and goals in your head, but what steps? What steps are we going to take? All right, guys. As we wrap it up here, again, I really hope you guys took this. I really like how we're doing our life skills for this. You've got 3 months to really lean into these life skills. I'm really excited for the next one here that we're doing, but this goal setting one, again, this is an awesome one and one that we should all be doing regularly and consistently throughout the year, forever. And if you're a parent watching this who's maybe got one of our little champs, or just even your kid's 7, they're not too young to start doing this and to start understanding these things. So start doing these. Do them for them, do them for you, do them for your family. Like again, for us, with our family, we have our family goals, we have personal goals, we have our business goals, all of these things and all of these different categories. Ryder and Rocky have their own little sets of goals. And it's fun just watching them think about like, oh, I want to go on this hike. Like it's fun watching them look at things. Ryder, I want to hit a home run. I want to get a double. Like they set these little goals for the year, and it's fun to watch them just kind of like get creative about like what it is they want to achieve and these visions and ideas that they have. So again, do this with your family. I know this was for all the athletes at school, but again, don't be afraid to like steal this, take this, and apply this with your family, for yourself, for your kids, all across the board here, and do this for multiple different things, not just one thing at a time. You're going to probably have a whole bunch of stuff that you want to get done here and a whole bunch of goals that you want to make, whether it's weight loss, whether it's flexibility, training, endurance, work. Like, do you have a promotion that you want to get? School? Do you have certain grades that you want to meet? All of those things. So again, take these steps here, guys. Anyway, champions, I love you guys. I miss you guys. I will see you guys all real soon. If you're watching this, I'm going to see you guys in a couple weeks. Other than that, guys, keep working on these. Get ready to hand them in starting March 31st. But again, you've got that whole month. You got the month of April to hand them in. So get working on them and get crushing those goals. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.